I'm standing on board the Axopar 45. This is the largest Axopar in the range and it comes in a variety of different layouts. We have of course already tested the Axopar 45 Suntop. This boat right here is the Axopar 45 Cross Cabin. This boat is perfect for anyone looking for a little bit more comfort. Not that the other boat isn't comfortable, but more comfort, more internal space, good for cool climates, but also people looking to do perhaps more overnighting on board. What's important to note, and is a tradition with Axopar, is they've really changed the game on board. Plenty of open space, and even when you're inside that saloon, it feels light and airy as well. Come with me and let's take a good look. One of the key design elements that you really notice immediately when you step on board any Axopar, in particular this Axopar 45 Cross Cabin, is the openness, the space that's on board. Everywhere you look, there's a wide open walkway. Nothing is in your way anywhere around this boat, and they're designed that way so that you can get maximum enjoyment out of the entire footprint. Just look at the amount of space here in this rear cockpit. There's plenty of room. Multiple people can enjoy this space all at the same time. There are a variety of options when it comes to seating or laying out this particular aft cockpit. In this case, we've got the rear bench seat, and that does maximize the open space. So if you like snorkeling, jumping in the water, this is probably a great layout for you. You can also add U-shaped seating if you wanted to, so that you can fit more people in and around this space. So entertaining is on your menu. That's probably something you're going to want. For me, in this aft area, I really prefer having it nice and open. But on this side here, I'm probably not going to be sitting because I would option up to this barbecue located here in the starboard corner. And that really does maintain that Australian element of outdoors and entertainment. The great thing about this particular layout with the bench seat across the back of the cabin is you have enormous amounts of storage underneath this cockpit here. This one goes right up the center of the boat. You could almost fit a stand-up paddleboard in there, I expect, but it gives you a lot of room to store those little bits and pieces that you always need on board. Being able to use the entirety of the footprint of the boat is something that Axopar do pride themselves on, and here is a classic example of taking something that most day boats have, but creating something a little bit more special out of it. You've got a two-tiered sun pad located at the bow. You can sit down, use the armrest, relax, or if you want to stretch out, you can hop up to the top level and really lay out and enjoy the sun. You might also note behind me there's roof racks up on the roof. Now that's for your water sports toys, stand-up paddleboards, things like that, and that really does play into the adventurous spirit and the adventure that Axopar build into every one of their models. Now check this out. This is a great design and it really does open up the boat and make it feel even more spacious. And as I mentioned, I can still talk to the people inside. It's a really great design and it's a wonderful spot to sit down, relax, perhaps have an afternoon wine as the sun sets. A very clever design inside the cabin here is this twin sliding door configuration. Now if you want to step outside and you're berthing the boat and you want to leave the driving position and get outside quickly, you'll open the front half of the door. If you're entertaining on the other hand and you want to have that inside-outside connection, you come down here and you open this rear sliding door, and that enables the people inside on the lounge to communicate with the people outside on the bench seat. When you think about traditional 45-foot cruisers, let's say, they do feel very enclosed at times, and that's where the design team at Axopar really excel, and they take that sort of internal space and create a very open and airy feeling. And this saloon, I guess you would call it, cabin if you like, is exactly that. Despite being inside, the doors slide all the way forwards. You've got an enormous amount of air coming in and sunlight as well, courtesy of the sunroof. And it doesn't feel like you're sitting inside, cramped in a tiny space. It feels very, very open. And the design element extends outside. So in the side of the gunnel, there are two fold-out seats. Now you can actually sit there and still have a conversation with people sitting inside the cabin. And that is a very well executed and well thought out design. I'm downstairs in the cabin. This is the only cabin on board this particular model. If you option up to have the aft cabin, you've got two completely separate areas, one for the kids, one for the adults. As it is, this is extremely spacious. There's great head height as you come down the stairs, and it's very open as well inside. If you want to use it during the day as a place to sit down and relax, you can actually turn it into this L-shaped seating configuration that we have right now. Essentially, this whole section flips over when you want to turn in for the night, and that turns this into an enormous bed, and it's got quite a lot of room, I might add. It is spacious, but it can be even more open via these two gull-wing doors, and they open right up. If I'm overnighting, it's going to be very comfortable for multiple nights, but if I want to use it during the day, I can actually just turn it into this seating arrangement and really get maximum use of this space. If you want to enjoy a little bit of that wind through the cabin, you can open the side doors, but also you've got twin sunroofs, one at the front and one at the back, and they are automatic in that you press the button once, hold it down, and it will keep going to a certain point. Makes it very easy to use. Now, if it gets really hot, you can close those back up. Now, if you get really hot, you close those back up, as I'm doing now. You can close the doors, and you have an optional air conditioner on board. Now, powering that is 1000 amp hours of battery and a battery monitoring system. That battery power also powers twin electric burners inside the cabin here. A great idea, keeps you comfortable in all conditions, hot or cold. Now, I think most people will option up for that external barbecue area in the back starboard corner, but if you are in inclement weather, it's raining or perhaps it's a little cool outside, you do have the versatility and opportunity to do some meal prep inside. You've got this wonderful wet bar, but you've got a fridge either side as well, plenty of storage for the things you need to keep cold. You've got a 2-burner electric hob here, and also you've got a sink too. So there's everything you need, plenty of bench space as well, I might add. Everything you need to make sure that you can keep your guests fed and happy while you're aboard. Russell, thanks for joining us. We often talk about Axopars and how easy they are to use, but boats can be quite complicated. How do they get or build these boats in a way that makes them so enjoyable for an owner?
Well, it's very difficult to do, to be honest, and a lot of it comes from feedback. These guys have been going for 10 years now, and they've learned a lot along the way by asking those questions and having 2 ears open. Jan Erik said it really nicely recently. He said it's very easy to make a complicated answer to something. It's very hard to make an easy solution. So what they're doing here is they're spending a lot of time ergonomically making this perfect, so your left hand is auxiliary, right hand is all important stuff, you've got stuff at your fingertips, you can get out to your midship cleat, and then you add the versatility of being able to set this boat up for weekends, aft cabin, more seating area out the back, U-shape. You know, this boat is really versatile, and you can customize it how you wish.
Absolutely, and I definitely have found that even looking around myself. What sort of owner are you getting on board the 45 cross cabin?
It's really a mixture, to be honest. I mean, someone that hasn't owned boats before can jump on this and feel good aboard very quickly. You know, it's always good to have someone take you through it a few times, but because they've put that simplicity into the boat, anyone can do it and build up that confidence. There's a lot of people that are moving from the bigger cruiser boats. You know, there's a stage that a lot of people come to where they've got sort of 2-3 bedroom cruisers, they're going out with the kids a lot, but they're maybe moving away. You know, it doesn't make sense to have those boats anymore, so people are moving down to something like this and doing more day boating style out on the water. And a boat like this also means, because of the performance aspect, we talk about performance as being speed, but it's actually comfort of speed. So you can go a long distance, have a great day, get back very quickly, and be back at home by the end of the day.
And definitely, I mean, that driving experience is something, again, that Axopar is well known for. What contributes to that experience?
It's always been, they won't compromise on the hull. The hull's the thing that made Axopar. So they spent countless hours just developing. It took them more time to develop the second series of Axopar hull than it did the whole boat in the first series. So it's just that time going into the finer details of hydrodynamics. And then when you're putting everything on board, you're making sure you're not going too far. You actually need to have restraint on boats like this, where you're not adding weight in places that are going to take away from that performance.
Excellent, thank you very much for your time. In front of me you've got two large screens. You've got navigation on one and you can keep your tabs on your engines on the other. You've also got a boat control screen that controls the functions of the boat on the bottom left. Now whether you're sitting or standing, the steering wheel and also the throttle are really easy to reach, and that design makes this boat so much fun to drive. We've got three 300 horsepower Mercuries on the back powering us along, and to really experience the thrill of driving an Axopar, particularly this 45 cross cabin, I think you've got to have everything open. The sunroof's open, the side doors back, so you can get that wind through the cabin. It adds to that feeling of speed or pace across the water, and that really does add to the thrill of driving. So if you're looking for a boat that you have maximum room on, but that's really easy to handle, easy to drive, and feels much more comfortable, then this is the sort of boat you want to buy, an Axopar for sure. This boat is capable, I'm told, of 46 knots. We're heading into the wind, so I'm going to put the hammer down just as soon as we get across this wake. So into the wind, throttle's down all the way, a little bit of trim, and pretty quickly we're already at 43 knots and still climbing. 44 knots now, bit of weight, I'll just turn away from that. But as you can see, this boat is extremely comfortable at speed across the water. So into the wind, I'm getting 40, just shy of 45 knots now, and that's mighty fast and extremely comfortable, I might say, at the same time. It's a really, really comfortable boat at speed, and that's important to remember when you're looking for a boat that's going to get you from A to B efficiently and comfortably. That's exactly what you want. Perhaps the most impressive thing about these hulls is the way they handle, and the way they handle across the water is as good as any boat probably better than most boats that I've driven in this class. I can throw more power into it and it keeps holding throughout the turn. And like I said, it turns a much tighter arc than you might expect in a boat of this size. Now the 300 horsepower Mercuries will propel this boat to around 46 knots, and I'll give that a quick go now. I'm not going to go blasting too far down the harbour, but even now I'm doing 44 knots and it doesn't really feel like it at all. It's really comfortable across the water. I'm not having any trouble controlling the boat. The steering's precise. It's going exactly where I need it to and where I want it to without me having to make any huge adjustments at all. I've trimmed it up a little bit and now we're doing 45.5 knots, and that's pretty much fast enough for a boat like this. You don't really need to be doing much more than that. I'll just back off a little bit and I'll throw it into another turn just to show you how impressive this boat can be. And I'm going to turn to the starboard side now. Let's have a quick look around, make sure no one's there. Just make sure everyone's holding on, and as you can see, I'm doing 40 knots and I'm still turning a fairly tight arc. That is impressive. Put a bit more power down as I'm turning. Now we'll go with the wind. See if we can eke out a little bit more of that speed that these hulls are renowned for. But I will say it's not just about getting there quickly, it's about doing it in style, and you can do that as well on board the Axopar 45 cross cabin. So dropping it back a little bit further, I'm just under that 30 knots, about 28, 29 knots, and now I'm down around 40 litres per engine, and that's going to give you a pretty comfortable range no matter where you're going to own this boat. And as I said earlier, it's about the joyful driving experience that you get on board any Axopar, and even particularly this Axopar I'm on today. It drives incredibly well. They're extremely fun, and you might be concerned, 45 foot, that feels and sounds like a big boat, but it handles like something that is much smaller, and that really does add to the experience as well. And it's an important thing to remember when you're looking at a boat. You want to feel comfortable at all times, and you're going to do it on this. This is not just a boat you simply own. It begs to be used in all of the ways that they intended when they designed it. It is executed that well and provides that much versatility. If you like adventuring, entertaining on board, lazing about in the sun, or even overnighting, you can do it all on board the Axopar 45 cross cabin. In fact, I don't think there's another day boat on the market that provides this much of a feast of opportunity on board. Priced from $1.3 million, it is a truly versatile platform, and it has the performance as well that you would expect from an Axopar. It makes complete sense. I'm Dom Wiseman for Club Marine TV. I'll see you on the next episode.